Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Truth. It's been a while since I last put out a video on this channel. It's because I've been working on my other broadcasting channel. But this is a topic that I've been working on for a little while, so I wanted to bring to you guys tonight the Great American Deception. Are we looking at the Great American Deception? I have seen a disturbing pattern that is playing out before us, right before our eyes, and one that has been in the making for several years. Our world is in a state of chaos, one that has been engineered and tested well before we even realized it. So now I'm going to challenge you to think and also step outside the box from what you believe and think you believe is the truth, and have an open mind. Because once you do, you will begin to see the patterns and why things are playing out the way they are. Guys, this is kind of interesting in itself. And we have to go back a few years and look at things. Things that we may have thought it was something else at the time, like Jade Ho. Or the Ferguson, some of the police riots, the training exercise before Jade Ho, there was training exercises going on in various states. You know, we never really seen why they had come about. Never really given much thought. And I want to bring some of my own thoughts to this. And maybe it should give you a different way of thinking on things and looking at some things. In the end, you guys are going to have to come to the conclusions yourself. My views and beliefs is also coming from actually stepping outside the box and what I thought, I believed, and saw at first. And just going back, rewatching things, reviewing things. From the protests that's been going on, to Black Lives Matter, to immigration policies, terrorism, stuff we've been seeing going on in Iran, Syria, and Turkey. issues with Russia, in the sense of what has taken place is a, in a sort, it's a sorts, it's an information overload. Then we have the issues with fake media, fake news, citizen journalists, conspiracy theories. We live in an age where information is just in our face at all times. We've seen the corruption of major news media, how they've been caught lying and misleading. We've also seen the rise of the citizen journalists. And we've seen mass censorship going on. We've had to step back and rethink. We watched a crazy election cycle. No matter who you were rooting for or wanting to be elected, we're going to keep the political politics and dogmas out of it. We need to in order to be able to see the picture, the bigger picture. You know, I'm going to touch on some ideas that's going to appeal to a lot of you who never thought you'd hear me say anything negative on certain politicians. Because one, I look at politicians are all the same. Yes, we have a few good ones that mean and want to do good things. They're just overpowered by the rest. They come in with good intentions and find out they're never going to be able to make a change because they're outnumbered. But the bottom line when it comes to political speculatives, it's still about control. They look out for their own agendas. They don't care about us common folk. They don't care about the white collar, blue collar workers. They only care about themselves and the people that support them, the big corporate companies. We're going to get into a little bit of the corporations as well. I'm going to go take some of this back as far as Occupy Wall Street. Start showing you how these things start evolving. Because it's important to start to see the potential pattern that's evolving before our eyes. I know many of you are going to question, and that's actually the purpose of this. I want you to question everything I think. And I want you to have an open mind. I want you to think. I want to force you to think. I want to force you to step outside the box. You know, and sometimes the best way to do that is to step outside the box. Is put all politics, dogma, ideology, and personal beliefs aside. Because in a sense, when we watch news and shows, we tend to be attracted to the things that speak to those ideas. I've also done a lot of work on KOTR, talking about different forms of psychological warfare and psyops. And breaking it down and explaining it how to be able to see it, which I'm not going to get into too much on this channel. Because the way I bring it may not be appealing to some of the viewers on this channel. So but later in a few months, I'll work on the same topics for this channel and bring it about on this channel. I titled this The Great American Deception because because I'm American. We live in America. I don't have all the news from Brazil or Europe. I have friends there I watch streamers that stream from there. But I want my things that I can view and see, personally have seen and witnessed, been through, or just barely missed. Like me and my friend Rob, when he was living here in Ohio, he was checking out some nursing homes for his mom. But he's in Akron. We just missed an operation, a training operation, where we were one of the last cars that they actually waved through before they blocked off the road and started to do a search of everybody's vehicles, running an operation, checking for weapons. It was just a training exercise. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew it was going to happen. It was just one of those scheduled things. This was before the Jade Helm stuff. It was like about a year or two before the Jade Helm stuff. You know, Akron, Ohio. I mean, they've never ran exercises like that. But it was, black SUVs, blacked out vehicles, all just pulled in. Everybody running what we consider a typical military exercise drill. In all places in Akron. I mean, what the hell? But we also started seeing that play out in other states. California, they were doing the same thing. You know, then we got to witness Ferguson. Regardless of what you guys' views and points on Ferguson, Ferguson was not going to say it was staged. Something happened, but even with coincidence like that, nothing is a coincidence. They used the opportunity of that to show how the police could be more militarized and act to control crowds. Then again, we've seen it in Baltimore to the point where they end up calling in they called the National Guard in on both cases. And for those that actually watched, followed the live streamers of it, you've seen how it went down. That's another reason why they want to censor the live streaming stuff, because then they can spin it. Oh, the crowd just got out of hand. I'm sorry, when you bring a police in full riot gear with tactical weapons and military vehicles that you would see in a third world country fighting a war, that is a form of intimidation. The beating of the shields is a military form that's been practiced throughout centuries in warfare. It's a it's used as a trigger, a psychological effect. But we start seeing this more and more play out to where becomes more of the norm. It's like it's more okay to have this type of things. Then we've seen the rise of BLM and pretty much the whole of Obama's presidency was racism. Everything was termed in racism. But what has happened, they've taken events like this that would have been minor events in most cases and used it as a testing ground. And we did see a lot of this during Obama's administration. We can go clear back to Occupy Wall Street. The different ways they were playing around with implementing provocateurs within the groups, the rise of many other groups. And when you start dealing with these types of groups, you have to actually start checking out, getting into not the group itself, but who's funding the groups. It is very important. Follow the money. You'll find that a lot of these so-called groups out there, like Disrupt J20, ELM, are sponsored, supported, being backed by corporate businesses. People like George Soros have been tied to this. You know, we've also then we started seeing the rise throughout all these. We also seen the rise of the citizen journalists, the live streamers out there filming this, and we also see, you know, the so-called conspiracy theorists like Infowars, Alex Jones, them covering it, cramming it down our face and our throats, bringing their own perspectives. Then we end up coming to the current election cycle that took place. Before that, in its height, we've seen the fall of Brexit, the Brexit thing, people leaving the EU. But before then, we had other countries like Greece was just falling apart. I mean, trash piled up in the streets because because EU wasn't working for that. They were trying to get out, and other countries were seeing the same unstabilizing effect. I mean, all this seems to be, you know, up and up. Okay, people started to get away from the EU, pulling away. Then we have in the United States, we have our election presidency come on. Honestly, it was the most dividing thing I've seen in America ever. I think it divided this nation more than the Civil War ever did. I mean, we actually have to go back that far to see our nation so divided. Here's where it gets interesting. Let's keep it real. Bernie Sanders had a better chance to be elected president than Hillary. Then we throw a businessman, a reality star, a tycoon, Donald J. Trump, into the mix. I mean, he's played with the political side there. At the beginning of the Obama administration, but he never tossed his hat in the ring. So he finally tossed his hat in the ring. Well, most people think, okay, this is a joke. He's just going to back out because he's done it before. He backed out. Well, he didn't back out. So now we got to look at the characters that were all involved in this. The Democratic Party had many potentials that truthfully would have done way better than Hillary. I mean, Hillary was involved in scandal after scandal. We got to be honest there. That's the truth. We've seen it. The Benghazi incidents, the leaked emails, giving the answers to giving the questions before a debate. Admitted, proven. It's like the Democratic Party set itself up to fail almost intentionally. Because the truth is, in no realistic reality did she ever have a chance. She's going to be always remembered for the Benghazi incident and the way she helped handle Congress in her comments, regardless of what you think of her political views. She didn't have a chance. That's just about what. It's like they intentionally threw the election. They brought up a few scandals here and there. It's going to happen in any election. But we also know from a psychological approach, a lot of people's going to end up going for the underdog. So when you have mainstream news just bashing an opponent every minute of the hour, like they were doing, it makes people question that person. It makes them, oh, wait, what's going on here? Some people still believe in fact check. But then again, some people, you start doing that, you're not an actual attention, so they root for an underdog. Some of that may have played its part. And the fact, we also had a person that was standing up there telling everybody what they've been wanting to hear. It was believable. He didn't have to do much. He proved that. He didn't have to spend billions of dollars in the campaign. Where Clinton did. And we don't want to get into, I'm not going to get into the email scandal, the hacking, because we've seen what came from that. And maybe I will touch on it a little bit because it goes into the great American deception here. Those things came out at the perfect timing. Call it Russia, call it WikiLeaks, call it whatever you want. Let's actually put it where the blame where it's supposed to be. It was the DNC. They could have hired good computer programmers that wouldn't allow their stuff to get hacked. It's like they wanted their stuff to get hacked. In the way the rallies were going with the immigration issue, racism, all these cards came up big. You know, businesses. That's the thing I didn't get throughout this whole election cycle. Even Bernie, they only touched a little bit on it. He has some good ideas for building up America. I mean, the only thing Americans care about is getting jobs. So when somebody's up there promising them you're going to do this, that is the number one selling point to most Americans. You know, and most Americans experienced Obamacare. There were some good parts of Obamacare. I will freely admit that there were some great parts of it, but there's a whole lot of bad parts. And it's bad when the Supreme Court, even in their decision, said, yes, there's some things in this bill is unconstitutional, but it is a tax, therefore it is not. We cannot rule on it because we don't deal with taxes. Taxes has no part of the Constitution or the corporate sector. The other ruling was the corporate sector ruling, allowing corporate entities, because they're not considered a single person, so therefore the Constitution doesn't apply to corporate businesses when they donate mass amounts of money. And we heard Obama bring it up. We've heard other governors and senators that opposed it, that won that, because we know what corporation is. Corporation is, well, Saudi Arabia may have a corporation over here. Because it's over here, they can pour their money into an election. So once again, the Supreme Court dropped the ball. They helped set in motion a lot of the things that are taking place now. With each thing, as mentioned, it starts opening up a pattern. It's like, especially with this election, because in a sense, they tested all these things out. Let's go back to James Howell. Everybody and their neighbor on YouTube that live streamed or did videos started to report on it. Why are they doing these things now? There is no really major reason for it to be. These training exercises to be done on U.S. soil. We're not in no major war. Yes, we suck at urban warfare. Plain out, simple truth. When it comes to guerrilla warfare, urban warfare, we just suck at it. But that's not how it was spun. But it was spun enough. Now I'm going to use something that. Let's go to the Podesta files. Pizzagate. They dangled these tidbits of truth. I'm just going to keep it at that. The best lie is told with a little bit of truth. Because everybody will see that little bit of truth, and you give them something, a nice shiny lure, and they'll dive right in after that lure and just go straight down the rabbit hole after that shiny object. It missed the whole point. So yes, I think some of the stuff was done intentionally. I think if you sit back and look at it, a lot of it was done intentionally. Because now they can try to work on censorship. Because when incidents happen, like the Pizzagate thing, somebody walks into the pizza shop with a gun, instantly gave every live streamer that was doing anything on Pizzagate a bad name. Instantly, censorship started taking place. Videos started being taken down. If you were monetizing your videos, you were losing your monetization. Because then we start hearing the terms fake news, which we started hearing really before, but this was when it started really peaking. Well, let's look at our citizen journalists too. They go out there, they live stream. They're live streaming. It's not edited. We're seeing it raw and unfold right before our eyes. And you can go back, then you can go turn away from your TV, flip on the news channels. They might be reporting something 9 times out of 10. They're either reporting something completely different or not reporting it at all. Or you get people like Alex Jones and a few other live streamers out there that live stream and bringing news, breaking down Jade Hill, following the leads, investigating the cartels, how easy the cartels can come across our border, and how easily they do. We get caught up so much in these cycles. We hear one side say this, we hear the other side say that, to the point where the more it's in your face, the more it's shown, just like these drills, it becomes okay because it's just common. It's like I don't hear too many people talking about the precognition. Anybody remember Minority Report? That's happening right now in California and Arizona. Not being really talked about, but they're using it. Nobody's questioning it. We're so caught up in other things. We're caught up with who's right, who's wrong, and we're seeing things really come to not even a head. It's being bullying over. I mean, it's like we've given everybody a bunch of kegs of good dynamite, kegs of black powder, and we gave them a lit match. We got people turning on people. I think this year, probably most people's Christmases is probably the worst Christmases ever because, they were with family who are divided. This group sees this side, this group sees this side. I mean, yeah, Trump won. And I think they wanted him to win. Because I think they realized they stoked the fire high enough that we're now seeing it unfold. I think that was their plan all along. Same with the Brexit. Let everything go into chaos. Let everything collapse. Let everybody turn on each other. Guys, this ain't the first time situations like this has happened. Remember your history. Study the art of war. Study warfare. Study tactics. You don't have to get too deep into it. It's it's basically warfare 101, psychological warfare 101. All this stuff is pretty much on 101. It's how you do it. You introduce it. You keep when situations arise, because some of these situations, no, they just happen, but they use those situations to implement a structure, to implement an idea or a training exercise. They do it on such a grand scale, it becomes, after so many, and I'm sure some of them were staged to happen so they could just do this. But now we're taking a look at the protests that's going on. We're seeing more of the philosophy to let them go, let them do it, let them destroy and cause much. But the only places these are happening are places that have real strict gun laws, real strict self-defense laws. What's going to happen eventually is going to end up coming to a state that doesn't have those strict laws, and there's going to be a shot, and that's going to be the shot heard around the world. Remember that from a long time ago from our history, which has been taken out of our history books, the shot heard around the world? That's what we're slowly, I don't think slowly anymore, I think speedily coming to. Because eventually this is going to come to a head, and it's going to explode right before our eyes. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop it. We've got we got our own congressmen in Congress telling people, take to the streets. They're basically calling for civil war. I'm starting to see a lot of preppers starting to call for the same thing. Why? Because one politician said it. It puts them on the defense. We need to prepare. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody should be a type of prepper. You should be prepared. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you don't have to be elaborate, expensive with it. Just having a few extra items put away in your car, a med kit, can make a difference. That's being prepared in my eyes. I mean, there's other steps of preparedness, but you're seeing so much chaos and division, and there's so much out there you can't really see the truth. Now we have Google AdSense pulling their pulling because anybody, even me on YouTube, if I want my videos monetized, I have to have AdSense. And I've had AdSense ever since I've been doing, back when I did the magazine or was doing websites. So we use it because we have to have it. It helps drive traffic to us. Yes, we make revenue off it. I don't make nothing off it. I don't draw that much traffic. But but there are some out there that actually, if this would become their job, they rely on it. And then when you pull that, your stuff no longer comes at the top of a search. You're having to search way at the back. And so then you start getting labeled as fake news. Just because your ideology is different from somebody else. Doesn't matter if you're right. You're just not going along with the mainstream or what they want you to, what they deem is right, which is a violation of our constitutional rights. I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of it, they dangle a lot of stuff out here for us to jump on. I think sometimes those that do live streams and do videos, we're too quick to jump on. And that was proven with the Pizzagate. It was kind of proven with the Jay Pell thing. And to this day, we really don't know why they did Jay Pell. Why would they? Why not? If you're preparing to set something up later down the road, why not train your military, your police, and other organizations, the alphabet organizations, to work in the public. Why? If you're doing it in front of the public, inviting the public here to take part, you're desensitizing them to where they think, okay, this this is just gonna, when it happens, it's common. Okay, this is what we're supposed to do, and you become sheep. Basically, you become enslaved. That's what you are. You're being led. We had FEMA since the Bush era shoved down our throats. We've actually seen how bad FEMA is when it came to being part of disaster relief. They put people in unsafe trailers that was the cheap wood was so cheap it was made with formaldehyde. People were getting sick and dying. You know, then we have Congress who's doing whatever they want, when they want, when they should be punished. Here goes, let me use this as an example. It goes to a person that has good intentions, wants to do good. There was a senator, I can't remember his name, you guys will have to research it. Like I said, I want to make you think. I want you to make your research and look things up. There was a senator that proposed a bill. The bill basically stated that they couldn't use information from, like, it was credit card information or stock information to make money off of. There was no law in place for that, so they could do it, and they did, and they got caught. Then they acknowledged the person that had the bill, and they ended up voting the bill. But what they did for that, they told him no, and don't ever bring it up. And eventually they got caught. Well, let me tell you something. If that was you or me, we'd be sitting in a federal penitentiary right now. They violated their oath of office, violated the oath of trust. They hold an office of trust. They violated every principle that they're elected to. Nobody took action. In fact, they made it so they couldn't be accused or charged for it. One guy's good intention went against the majority, and he was told to shove off. But when all things came rambling down, and the report actually got out there that he had brung it to him, they adopted. They made some changes so they could protect their assets and protect their assets. You know, North Dakota pipeline. How many? We know this. In the 80s through 90s, most of the politicians were big oil businessmen or had ties to the oil industry, which favored those type of bills being more regulated to pass. We still have oil tycoons and oil people associated in the oil business. Sometimes we have to look at those things. We forget that they're there. It's not the 80s and 90s no more. 2000, since 2000, I mean, even since the late 90s, things started changing. Common Core, teaching people part of our history and throwing away all the parts that actually, the reason why we have a constitutional bill of rights, why we have supposed to have a free America. Freedom in America is a deception now. Now we have, well, I'll use my dad's example. He had surgery last year. Okay. He lives on disability. My mom's she's retired, and they live off Social Security. So basically, that's about, one makes $800 a month, the other one makes $720 because of Obamacare. And what happens is, now the hospitals and stuff, they take your payments. Okay, you're not paying the full loss, so we're just going to turn it over to the collection agency. But yet, my dad's going to buy diabetes pens because he has diabetes, so he's got to buy the pens, which because the deductible system, the way it is, will be 800 and some dollars. That's 1 month. Check. Dollar. So now you can't. Now you got to think. What are you gonna live without? So you have his parents because he needs that to live. These are the type of laws that they've passed because of corporate sectors. These are the real stories that no news agency tells about. They just want to tell you the good things about it, things that we already know is good, but they don't focus on the bad. Then when other people bring up that, well, come 2017, it's going to be unaffordable. The deductibles are going to skyrocket, and they were right. It's just another thing to cause strife, chaos, division. Obamacare, in a sense, yes, it has some good parts, but in a sense, it also is hurting every American citizen out there. And that's the real intention. If you make it a tax, you can't get away from paying taxes in the United States. Or you get fined. Like me, I was looking at a $685 fine for the first time because I filed taxes last year. They don't take into consideration that I've been unemployed for almost 6 months. So therefore, I can't afford to pay insurance anyway and have insurance. Eventually what happens if you don't pay a fine? Oh, you go to jail. So now you're put in another system, a system that's very hard to get out of. But yet they let people riot in the streets, burn things, destroy businesses. Small, some of the businesses, yes, are big corporate businesses, but not so many. Most of them are mom and pop businesses. People are barely getting by. We're just seeing too much. We're seeing too much. We see a lot of it's our youth. It's doing this, which we expect our youth to be rebellious. Rebelliousness, constructive rebellion is good, but we're seeing it on the destructive level because the way they've been taught. Parents have to work. Both parents have to work 40 plus hours a week just to put food on the table, support, make sure the kids have clothes on. Clothes. They're rarely getting by. People scream, "Will raise the minimum wage." Well, that don't work, guys. Actually, I got a video on here about that. Go watch it. It does no good to raise the minimum wage to $15 if you don't put regulations on the corporate sector to where they can't raise that $375 gallon of milk. That's the average price, at least a month ago, from $3.75 to $7.50 to match the increase of $15. Guess what, guys? You're still paying the same damn price. You've got no break. You're not saving the money. And that's what they do. They match. You get a break. You up the rate pay, they up the price to match the up and pay. But they don't tell you it like that. That's why I said there's a huge deception going on. Because we'll hear CNN and all them tell us, oh yeah, minimum raising the minimum wage. They never report the actual facts. That okay, well these organizations, these businesses, because they got to buy from another business, they just raise the price to match the increase. So therefore, nobody's making any money. I mean, this election cycle, it was the biggest joke there was. Basically, we had a one candidate that was going to win because of the opposition. And I think it was intentional. And I'm not saying that Trump's a bad person. I'm not saying his intentions are true, but I think we need to step outside the box and look at the pattern. You know, he's doing some great things. Maybe that's what he wants, because let's look at what's all going on. We still got people protesting the election. We got our Congress protesting our president. We've got Secret Service members that's having to be fired because they say they won't protect the president. We've got people leaking classified material. Honestly, guys, believe what you want. Russia hacked. Everybody hacks. Let's get past that deception. Well, I mean, if you go to other countries, how many times do we get caught under Obama's administration in other countries for spying on them? Hacking and spying is pretty much the same damn thing. Many of the same methods are used. It's just a deception. Hack other people hack. I mean, China's really bad at it. Ooh, I'll give you that. But we're just as bad. Just as bad as Russia. We're just as bad as other countries. You know, we had Germany accuse us. Brazil, all places accuse us. You know, like I said, there's documents and stuff still coming up. Emails. Believe what you want on that. You know, I tend to look at it, research them, I don't talk about it because what's the point? If you bring it up, you're just going to be labeled as fake news. When everybody should be doing their own research. Let me tell you what, hey, with the things being pulled in the last couple of weeks now, you got to go 50, 60 pages in to actually be able to research anymore on a Google search or any search. To find the truth. I mean, we've got protesters blocking the streets and not letting the ambulances through. That's something that's been reoccurring. That's the problem, guys. So what's going to happen, like I said, it's going to be a shot heard around the world. It's going to happen one of these days. Somebody in an ambulance is going to end up dying. And somebody in that family is going to want justice. We've got states passing laws where it's okay to run over protesters, and that's not right either. They are setting the stage for something to erupt so they can completely take over. Declare martial law. And then do whatever they want. Whatever the agenda is. I personally don't know what the agenda is. Maybe the agenda is to cause so much chaos all the way around the world as it's going on right now to usher in a one world government. That's a conspiracy theory, but that's a conspiracy theory that's been going around for ages. And I think we're seeing the makings of it. Let's let Trump get elected. He's going to cause so much chaos. And that's what he's doing, truthfully. You know, he is truthfully doing his job, unlike any other president before him. But he's so hated. And some of the stuff he's done, I don't even agree with. The Dakota pipeline, that should have been stopped. Then its tracks should have been revisited. In fact, he should have stood up and put an end to it. Then he did. Then, with, I can't remember who it was with, he kind of pissed off the House for not letting them question it. But guys, that whole process is a joke in itself. You know what? You bring the House and Senate together, you give them 3 hours to question, to review. It should be drug out. Because in a sense, you know, you're actually hurting this country when you do that. Yes, I guarantee you. Pretty sure there's some people that shouldn't be put in the position that they've been given. And there's some that should be put in positions. that are needed. I don't agree too much with the Secretary of Education that got put in place. We'll see. What's the other thing? We've got to give a person a chance too. But that's kind of not the topic and point of this discussion. This topic and point of the discussion. This is deception that we're starting to see. We're starting to see huge patterns that we were overlooked because we're information overload, or not being able to know what's true or false, or the fact that we've just had a big psychological warfare psyop played on us that we've become desensitized to the things, and we're not looking to see what's actually going on in the background. And I pointed out one such case: psychotics predicting crime before they happen. That's a dangerous game because in the wrong hands, that's an easy way to get somebody out of the picture. It's an easy way to get some of these people out there telling the truth. Oh, we predict because of this and these events. This is going to cause these events, and this is going to take place here. Allows them to engineer events as well, or put innocent people in prison or in jail. And I mean, being honest, like even me, when I was tuned in and tuned out, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters though. See, that shocked me in itself. Because that man had a lot of supporters. Nobody's questioned that on the DNC side if it wasn't just rigged straight from the get, where the only candidate was going to be. And I'm not. I don't support any of them. But we need to look at the bigger picture. I think, honestly, it was designed for Trump to win. Because they knew the chaos that would ensue. And we're seeing it unfold right now before our eyes. We have still got protesting going on. It's not one thing, it's another. And now I sat back, okay? Well, wait, with the immigration bill. Weren't you guys when Obama passed the same damn bill? In fact, it was his bill that all Trump did was executive order was reinstate it and continue it with a few little added add-ons that didn't really affect anything. It just added a couple countries which needed to be added. That's the other thing. You don't see the real videos floating around what's happening in France, Europe, Sweden, Pakistan, Afghanistan, what they do to little women or people of their faith. There's videos all over YouTube. I did a truth portal on that. Go look, search it up, see what they do to gays. They throw them off rooftops. There's videos all over. But they don't show that here in the United States or in Canada. They don't want you to see that. Because if you see that, you're going to say, hell no. Keep them out. But at the same token, all this is also causing is suppressing the ones that are truly trying to get out. So we have some upstanding American Muslims that believe in our Constitution. They came here to flee that type of persecution. They don't believe in that Sharia law bullshit. But we get caught up so much, we start blaming them, which is another deception in itself. Immigration is a deception. We have immigration laws. We've had immigration laws for centuries. The only thing that's changed, you're not spending 30 days in a cell making sure you're free of viruses, you're of good health. There's a right way to come into the country and there's a wrong way. And If you come in here illegally, you broke the law, period. You know? And the bottom line with that is, quit being lazy. I seen it when I was in North Carolina, up in Bone. You'd see the illegal airbaggers standing out in front of Lowe's. Why? Because they knew the contractors would come in there first thing in the morning to pick things, and hey, it's cheaper to pay them than pay somebody that's got the skills to do it. Because they're gonna want to get paid for their work. Then there's some, especially out west, apple season, time to pick apples. They don't want to go out there and pick apples. We've gotten lazy. That's a job. Yes, it's labor. Still a job. Needs to be done. Because here's what you don't see. You don't see immigrants getting corporate jobs, blue collar jobs. They don't get the cozy cush jobs. Me, I'm not an office type. I like being outside working. I like being hands on, so I'm more of a laborer. Everybody's unique. I'm not lazy either, so there's so much deception out there. I think the great American deception was already set in motion. Everything was set. They were just looking for the perfect stage. And I'm not saying I'm not gonna start as go. Maybe Trump knew. Maybe he was informed to it. Maybe he's doing what they exactly want. I don't believe that, but I gotta step outside the box and also look at it that way. And also look at it that way for a little bit. So I'm looking at it that way. Some things start to make sense because they've already prepped for all this. They've already introduced it to us. They've introduced the Jade Helm, Occupy Wall Street, BLM, and various drills they were doing before Jade Helm. The things they've done with FEMA, how they started militarizing our police, giving them more military type vehicles. All under the guise, well, we got an over surplus, we just need to get rid of it. There is a reason why we have a posse comitatus act. So therefore, our police should not have the weapons that our soldiers can't even have while they're on U.S. soil. We've also had bills enacted that basically calls our vets terrorists. They've set the stage to cause division, to cause change the way how you look at people. You know, so let's say he knew about all this. Because I mean, he did try to throw his hat in the ring before, and he's played with politics before he even did that. I mean, I like to believe he's a patriot for all this, but you got to step outside the box. You got to look at all angles. So if he knew some of his choices and things he said, he's doing it intentionally to cause chaos, cause disruption, cause division. They've already set the stage for it. Along comes a man that can speak common to everybody, so everybody understands what he's saying. Doesn't have a political background. He's got a business background, which is going to appeal to a lot of people. You know, we get the Russian thing because, well, he's a businessman. He's been associated with all these world leaders, had interactions with them at some point. So you can start to spin that as well. So we start looking at things on that perspective. We start seeing how all these things that had been set before he was even conceived of running, because we're going to just hear what he's saying and jump right on it because it appeals to us. That's what we want to see. It's what we've been wanting. He's not a regular politician. I mean, he's the perfect person for that perfect role of bringing deception in. He's the George Washington, as it's been said. And if you take old images of JFK and Trump, put them side by side, there's a striking resemblance. I mean, scary, striking resemblance, which psychologically, we're dealing with people that were, that generation that was born, that generation that were young kids, that seen what JFK did, heard him speak, seen the assassination. So they've got that image. So you see somebody like Trump, that, wow, no, he's saying kind of the same things. Instantly, these people are going to be drawn to that. It's a psychological trigger. Whether they recognize it or realize it, let's look at it. Let's jump back to the email leaks. How George Kumo came out and addressed things. It was almost calculated, right at the right times. I mean, yes, most of it got spun off. Then they started playing the blame game. Then we had a U.S. attorney having a private meeting on a jet with Bill Clinton. Any legal attorney that's ever done practice would, the first thing he would tell you, no, you don't do that. It's actually against the law anyway, especially if you're investigating that person's life. Person in that family. You don't give the prosecution. Big no-no. I got spun off. But in a sense, enough of it got put out there. Like I said, you just dangle a little bit of truth. Then you have the media take off, spinning it in different directions to where, okay, but it's that little bit of truth clings to you. Then you start seeing how these little tidbits that came out, when they came out, guys, give me a second. I need to take a little break. I smell something. I guess burning. Check on that. Alright, guys, back. Sorry about that. But as you see, if we take a step outside the box, we can start seeing like maybe our election wasn't exactly what we thought it was. Because I mean, he is the ideal person. Because we're seeing the fruits of that. We're already seeing all the training exercise take place way before this. Now it's just a point of letting things escalate to a point to where somebody ends up finally gets hurt or shot. Or when you have certain congressmen calling for people to take to the streets and openly protest. They're calling for more division. That's why it's important to be able to just step back, look at things, review things. Because now, essentially, what we have going on, we have a war going on, a media war going on. Let's use Alex Jones, for example, because he's the easiest to pick on. Because he's got that many followers. So when you start following him and you hear him go off like he did yesterday when he got pretty much all blacklisted from Google and everything else that involved AdSense, he got censored. Well, everybody's hearing him go off. Yeah? Fear mongering is a dangerous thing, guys. He is a fear monger. He does fear porn at its finest. But we also got to look at his record. He's been right more than he's been wrong. Which we don't find out till later. So we got to give him that much. We got to give him credit there. But in a sense, he's also a tool. CIA, FBI, any organization knows this. Push. All you gotta do is push him a little bit or dangle something in front of him. He's gonna take off with it. Now with him, you gotta give a little bit more truth than a lie. Just enough. You know, he was one of the biggest supporters of Trump. You know, because why not? And Trump was saying everything that would pertain to Alex Jones. But when you start doing, now somebody said, let's play a strategy, be a strategist for a moment. All right, if I want certain things to come about, what am I going to need to do? Okay, I know this person. And you watched his ratings. I mean, even some of the more other-sided ratings, he's in the top 100 guys of most watched and viewed. So he reaches a huge audience. He reaches a bigger audience than CNN and Fox. So does Drudge Report. So you can start using these guys like tools. Because, well, it goes back to psychological warfare. You're gonna set him off. He's gonna make a big show out of it, which is going to incite people that follow, that watch him. So now he's helping spread the division. You know, And you see that happen. I mean, we've seen that happen with Pizzagate. It was a way to actually bring about censorship on streams like this, live streamers, citizen journalists. You know, just like when they started when they go to can't remember the name of it. Pretty much any event you go to, we've seen it in Ferguson too. They set up media zones. This is where you have to stand. If you're outside this area, you will be arrested. Wrong. That goes against the constitutional rights. It goes against the journalists' rights. They have a right to follow the report, video the report. There is no such thing as a free press zone. But yet they started pushing it. The Bundy's Ranch was another incident where they pushed it. If you stepped outside that line of reporter, they were manhandling you, threatening to shoot you with rubber bullets. I've seen some good documented video of live streamers catching, the police kind of blocking off areas so the media press couldn't see, then doing a demonstration. Basically, it was a staged demonstration of them arresting somebody. But where a few blocks down, you've seen the real. Like I said, they use these incidents as testing grounds. Can we corral and control the media? I mean, my personal take on CNN and all of them, yeah, they're a bunch of fake news. They're controlled. They say what they're told to say. They edit their stuff. They've been caught time and time again. But in a sense, though, it's a two-way street. Because now we have the president or Spencer, the administration, will just flat out call it, well, you're fake news, and you're not helping the cause. You're helping spread a division. You're creating the division and the tension. The best thing is to just ignore them. Don't call upon them. Don't even look at them. But don't publicly bash them. There's several ways to play the game. And that's what they're doing. They're playing a very dangerous game right now. All sides are. To the point where most people can't tell you what's the real facts, what's the real truth. And the ones that are covering the real truth, well, they get hammered so bad or censored or Google removes the AdSense from them, or they just bury their stuff. I mean, YouTube's a prime example. I've watched some streams that's had 7,000 viewers and growing. That should be trending, but you go look in the trending pages, you won't find that stream. You'll find something about cats or something that is more to the quid pro quo. You know, like one of my things I came across on Facebook was an image. Basically, the image depicted. They had something written on it. So I'll tell you what it wrote. Americans destroy globalism, or America awakens, globalism destroys. Site. And the picture was American bald eagle attacking a drone. Now, if you start looking at the picture, the American bald eagle is white and black. This is called a meme, guys. This is actually called psychological warfare. in esoteric terms, it's called sigil magic. The eagle, on its right talon, just above its talon, was the leash strap that's made. That's how you train birds of prey. You never take it off because it's a psychological effect to the animal that tells them when they're done doing what they were sent to do to come back. They are enslaved. Now, how the hell do you get global destroyed out of that image? Well, what that image projects is slavery, control, obedience to a master, racism, the destroying of free speech, in a sense. Because drones are new, they don't. But if you looked at the drone, it was a nice drone with a very nice camera attached to it. A lot of our citizen journalists, a lot of our reporters are using drones to film. So they've passed laws to restrict them. They made it to where we have to register our drones if they're bigger than a certain scale. You know, the bigger they are, the bigger the camera you put in, the better the image you can get. So we have this American bald eagle attacking this drone. But yet, America awakens, globalism destroyed. Picture being shared all over Facebook. I mean, for real, wake up. You guys have been tricked, deceived. That has nothing to do with globalism destroyed. In fact, that is globalism. That is control. That is enslavement, imprisonment, taking your rights away. Taking the rights away of a person filming something and that he'd be live streaming that they don't want you to see. That's what that image depicts. It is a form of psychological warfare. People see it. They see the words. They don't see the tether leash on the eagle. They don't see the camera on the drone. In fact, there's a bunch of articles out there all on the very subject. That's where that image actually came from, that whoever decided to put American Awakened Global is Destroyed on it must not have read the articles or seen the reports on it. They're training eagle hawks and other birds to attack people's drones that are live streaming. Control the press, control the free press, the free citizen, the citizen journalist. Because it's a cheaper tool for us to use. Most people can afford the cheaper drones. So they're training these birds to attack them. This is the stuff that's in our face every day. Like I said, there's been patterns throughout the years. People started getting back into drones is nothing, not a new concept, guys. I've been into radio controlled airplanes, helicopters, cars since I was a kid. But then they came out with something new, something that was more appealing. They called it a drone. Well, we symbolize a drone with the military. They fly drones. That's what they call it. Well, we see some of the cool. I mean, the drones are anybody can use. It's not like a remote control plane. It's simple to use. So we needed a reason to ban them or put restrictions on it. And certain events happen, and now lo and behold, we have restrictions on them. Like I said, guys, you start going back and watching the patterns, or just stepping outside the box, looking at things, you start to see how things are falling in place. scarily falling into place. These are the things that are not, that's just playing out right before our eyes. We've got so much information coming in. We've gotten so divided. The reason I'm doing this, the reason I titled The Great American Deception, because what's going to be next? What will be next is a shot heard around the world. Now, before Trump was elected, I had done our theories. I wrote on the same token, what if this is designed for him to win? What if this is what they want? Back then, I didn't even picture these, even see these patterns. They didn't make, they weren't there. I wasn't seeing them. Most people figured, oh, he'll get elected. There'll be some protests. What comes by January deal? Well, we're coming into March, and they're still going strong. And there's plans to run all the way through 2018 with them. And we're starting to see some really crazy stuff with these protests. I mean, in a sense, they're kind of allowed to run rampant. I have not seen any other protests ever be allowed to run that rampant. Without being really corralled and, police roughing it out. I mean, some people would say, well, they've evolved. They learned their lessons from what they've seen in Ferguson and Baltimore. I look at it completely the opposite. Those are just trained. They trained that way. So now they're just sitting back, waiting for that shot to be heard. Because it's coming, guys. I mean, right now they're just playing in what we call soft targets. California has some of the strictest gun laws. Portland has strict gun laws. Every place we see, Chicago has bans on guns. DC has bans on guns. I know there's some events scheduled for here in Ohio and Cleveland. And I tell you what, we have the castle law. We have some really awesome self-defense laws now. What's going to happen is they're going to come to one of these states sooner or later, and it's going to be bad. I mean, I've watched some protests already here in Columbus, happen in Columbus over this month. They let them protest for a bit. They gave them an hour or two. That was it. They never let them get out of control, and you're done. Your time's up. You need to disperse, and they dispersed them. They didn't allow them to go breaking. So now we start seeing the difference of states. We also know California is completely anti-Trump. So is Chicago. Because some of the things that they're getting away with, you're going to lose those things. Like I said, we start looking at maybe he was, and maybe he knows. He might just be playing a role. I mean, we have to look at all angles. That's why I'm telling you guys to step outside the box. Just look, view things differently. And hopefully some of you do. I mean, like, oh, yeah, you might be onto something. I can see that. Maybe that way we can kind of mend some of the fences, some of this division, because we know we could be looking at a civil war. We're seeing it all around the world now. We've got violent riots that are happening in France, Britain, Sweden, Germany. We've got mass terrorist activities happening in Turkey, Sweden, Germany, France, Britain. This is what we see when you let a bunch of refugees in that are processed, aren't vetted. There's important reasons. Those are important tools that need to be has to be used. It doesn't matter what your stance on education. We have to look at the record at hand. You guys didn't bitch, didn't complain when Obama put these very same legislations in place. It's basically the same bill, but you guys won't know it because most of you guys don't go and read the bills. All right, guys. I mean, you can see every bill that's passed through Congress, the Senate, House, every executive order that Trump puts out, that Obama put out, it's all there. It's all archived. It's all put out there for you. Yes, you have to do some research because we all know how bills are. They list other bills in them or they reference them. You got to go look at them. It's not a fun process. But when you do, you start saying, "Oh, okay. What are they making a big deal out of this for?" Hmm. Then you'll see someone like, "Why aren't they making a big deal out of this? It should be. Why ain't they talking about this?" We have to inform ourselves, and they're making it. They're trying to make it harder and harder. Like I said, some of this recent stuff that's come up, I went to research. It's like, what? Normally, it's you know, I can usually get it in the first 2 pages. I was having to go 50, 60 pages in to find what I was looking for. That's censorship. They didn't remove it. They just buried it deep enough where most people would give up. Then some things they do remove. Or they put an age restriction on. That way, okay, most people will see age restriction. Oh, well, it's probably not something I want to watch. Or it's not safe to have because I got kids around or something. You know how it goes. You know how thinking works. We also need to start thinking. We need to start questioning because from what I'm seeing, just the things I mentioned, I really haven't got much detail in on that. Because in a sense, I can't. Can I prove any of this? No, it's there. It's been played out in front of our eyes. Some of it I can prove, but what good is proving it when it's just been one single event? But the problem is that's the great American deception. It's one single event mirrored after another that's leading up to all this chaos we're seeing. That's led up to all this chaos we're seeing. The only thing haven't seen yet is the where it comes full circle and what I will call the shot heard around the world. Where now we see why they did these drills, and we'll start seeing how a lot of Americans will be ignore it and just be passive or turn their fellow citizens in or go after the ones that are reporting the truth. They're turning Americans against Americans. Doesn't matter who's in control, who's been elected. It's been one big shell game, one big deception. And they used it and they stoked the fire to cause division. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. Even your Hillary supporters out there, you got to be honest with yourself. She didn't stand a chance. We all know that. Bernie stood a chance. So does a few other ones on the Republican side. Our Democratic side stood a better chance than Hillary. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trump played a good game. He played the cards perfectly. Part of me still wants to believe that he's not. He is what he said he is going to do. He is what he was portrayed to be. But you have to look at everything. And the more I look at everything, he may just be that staged actor, a staged puppet that was put on the stage whether he realizes it or not, to bring about such a chaotic and unforeseen events to where we end up in a civil war or worse, to where martial law is declared, a police state is run. And those things to me was always conspiracy. But every conspiracy's got a little truth in it. So now we have to set back, go through everything, see how everything's played out. You know, we gotta step outside the box. We gotta, okay, enough of politics. Enough, I don't care what my political views are right now. They don't mean nothing because how am I benefiting from them anyway? Ask yourself, those of you call yourself Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Liberals, Conservatives, whatever title you want to use. How's any of these guys benefited us? Unless you're rich. Or in a corporate sector. Have we benefited from anything these elected politicians we did? I mean, truthfully, my theory on that, I'm for less government. We need to shrink our government. It seems to be that the more we have in there, the less control we have, and it's supposed to be we the people. They're supposed to honor we the people. They're supposed to hold to the values that usually elected them in there for. But then again, most people don't know their constitutional rights. We can now remove them out of office just as easily as we put them in. So we need to restudy our history. We need to study our legislature and executive and all the branches and how the procedures work. So know your rights. No, this happened within the past 4 years. It happened in Colorado. They removed their senators. People got together, filed a petition, and demanded them to be removed and have a revote, new one put in place. That is all right. They're steadily stripping away our rights. Basically, we live in a country where we have no rights and freedoms. Just like today, a DePaul, under the North Dakota pipeline, told everybody in the camp they needed to move out. Well, the reporters, they told them off. They kept backing the reporters up away from them so they couldn't get the view if something happened. It was slowly inching. They told the reporters, you can't be in there. If you're in there, you're subject to arrest. You need to stay on the road. You know what my big issue on this whole thing? If that is supposedly federal land, what are the cops doing there anyway? They have no jurisdiction. Nobody's brought up that one yet. You have no jurisdiction. Your jurisdiction ends. You're just a civilian when you step onto that native land. Only the federal government has jurisdiction. Only a marshal can come in there, or a Fed or a DA agent, or government official. Sheriff? Yeah, he gets some leniency because in some cases, Sheriff trumps feds. State Highway Patrol? Eh, wrong answer. Nobody's brought that one up. Nobody's pushed that one. Like I said, people's forgotten their constitutional rights, their bill of rights. They've forgotten their history. And the new generations, last few generations, they haven't been taught the real history. So they don't know. To them, that shot heard around the world is not even in the history books. Neither, well, that might still be in the history books. But the Boston Tea Party's not in the history books under Common Core. It never happened. Anything that could be viewed as a blemish, as they put it, I love how they quoted a blemish on America, they're removed from the history books. Anything that makes America look violent, they're removed. So I don't blame these young protesters who are out there thinking they're standing up for a cause. But I do also have an issue when they're being paid. Here, we'll give you 1,500 and a bus fare to go here. Like I said, you know, I think there should be some laws passed. Laws, not prohibiting the protesting, but prohibiting corporate funding. If you want to go protest, go. Do it on your own dime. It's whatever what my parents' generation did, and many of yours. Some of our grandparents' generation did the same thing. They wanted to protest. They just went. You, they might have got together few of the town people that had the same goal, and they all chipped in. There was no corporate funding them. There was no businesses funding them. But the same token, business wants to fund them, corporate wants to fund them, fine. Any damage they cause, anybody gets hurt, killed, that corporation is now responsible for that. And they put a quick end to that, unless the corporation is just that corrupt and wants that, because we do know there's certain organizations that are kind of want genocide to on a global level. I mean, that's the thing with Islam. Yes, we now see more radical Islam, Sharia Islam. Why? Because it committed genocide amongst their own people. No matter what you want to call it, it is a form of genocide. They killed and eliminated and eradicated anyone that did not follow Sharia law. So those that practice peaceful, the other non-radical version of Islam, because that's what most people, another deception, most people think there's only one form of Islam. There's actually about 4 or 5 forms of Islam. Only one, maybe two of them, which are radical violent. But yet we've allowed it to go on. Some of the wars we've caused, we supported more of the Shiva-based action. See, patterns. We armed them, equipped them, and therefore they were able to say that these guys are terrorists. They eliminated them. Or when we were no longer there, they just went on their own little genocide, eradicating those that held different beliefs for them, trying to control through fear and oppression, and forcing them to convert. It's not the only religion that's done that. It's happened in the past with other religions. In a sense, it happens with all religions. Every religion has their own radical little branch. These are the things that we need to start questioning, start seeing those patterns, start seeing some of those things what they are, distractions. I think I've probably rambled on longer than I probably should have on this topic, but yeah, we're looking at the great American deception. We just need to focus on us Americans. What you need to do is focus on what we've seen happen here throughout 8, 10 years. You go probably back a little farther than that. Pretty much only going back to the beginning of Obama's administration, a little bit of Bush's administration, and more the end of his administration. You know, there's things that implemented during his administration that we've seen has set the stage. Things that are playing out now. You guys need to question. You need to step back, shut the TVs off, shut. Well, I was gonna say shut the computer, shut the YouTube streamers off for a bit. Just start researching. Watch some other videos that you wouldn't normally watch. Because there's a lot of people out there bringing a lot of truth. Start revisiting some of the J. Helm stuff, the stuff before it. Revisit some of the Ferguson, the Bundy Ranch. basically anything where we started seeing training exercises happening on U.S. soil. Revisit those. Revisit some of the ones that were riots, so-called riots that broke out, where we see more militarized police form being used. Even question if you were a Trump supporter, even question that yourself. If you were the Hillary supporter, question it. It's pretty much what. And ask yourself, does she stand a chance? Does she really stand a chance against Bernie or Trump? Well, and with all the stuff that was on her record at that time, Benghazi, the email scandals, and there was a few other scandals. Her so-called charity. You start seeing a pattern where she was designed to be put in that position. So there was no real opposition to Trump. It's just another theory, another way to look at it. When you start looking at it, you start seeing that pattern. You start seeing it because all you gotta do is look around what's going around in every state. How much division we have, how much arguing, protesting. I mean, what drew the line for me, and this is what killed the feminine movement, is dead. It died when they let a male, DC, during the Women's March, punch a female reporter and protect and shield that man from the cops. You killed your very own movement. You gave your movement no meaning. That would have happened in the 80s, early 90s. Heaven forbid it happened in the 70s and 60s. That man would be on the ground getting his ass beat by every single woman in there not protected. The cops would be playing hell getting all those women off that man. That's what we're seeing taking place right before our eyes. A lot of the civil rights movements that are being put to shame by BLM. They didn't want division. They didn't want racism. They wanted the end of racism. Obama came along and stoked that fire in the Senate and stoked it so high that everyone's a racist now. If you're white, you're privileged. Privilege my ass. I work harder than I ever had to work just to make a living now. How does that make me privileged? The only privileged people in this world are the filthy rich, the ones that are in government. Because they don't go to jail. They don't go to prison. They get slapped on the wrist or things overlooked. There's your privilege, guys. Wake the fuck up. Quit being ignorant. Quit being blind. And quit posting memes that represent slavery. And then stripping people's rights away. I'm sorry, that fucking image still has me pissed. Why? Because the person that posted it should have known better. American Awakens, Global is dead. Yeah. Love the imagery there. American bald eagle, black and white. Which is rare, guys. Most people are used to the gold and brown, but yes, there are versions of black and white. Golden bald eagles. They're actually very beautiful. But the depiction says itself. The tether band wrapped around its leg. The enslavement band. Attacking a drone that has a camera. Yeah. And everybody thinks, oh yes, that's cool. It means what it says. No, guys. It's a psychological warfare weapon. It is a sigil made to dumb you down. To make you think, oh, this is destroying globalism by these eagles. Our national bird, by the way, that is more protected than any other animal on this earth, attacking a drone with a camera that's leashed, enslaved, by a master, attacking probably a citizen journalist's drone who's trying to film within his constitutional rights. It's a suppression of the truth, not globalism that's destroyed. Everybody needs to wake up, step aside, quit arguing with people, quit posting everything you see that's trending. Because guess what? Half the stuff you see is trending. When you go back and fact check it, turns out to be very misleading. It was not exactly the truth of what was really said. But yet they want to come after people like me and other people who bring you true facts, or make you think, make you question. They want to remove our AdSense, basically, or censor us so these videos aren't seen in other countries. You know, I'm not calling for anything but for people to wake up. Stop arguing. Stop giving them dumb debates of who's right or wrong. Guys, look, a pattern unfolding right before that has unfolded right before your eyes. Look, question. Open your fucking eyes and do a little research. Question everything. Then tell me what you see. I hope you guys enjoy. I haven't what to tell you guys. Other than don't fall victim to what people are saying. Don't jump because the congressmen are telling you to go take to the streets. Don't jump because certain preppers are telling you prepare for civil war. That's what they want. Basically, it's just people. They're being one side being triggered, the other side gets triggered. The more it triggers, the more it spreads. The more it spreads, the more likelihood we're going to come to that ultimate showdown. That's what's going on. They've pushed it so far. It's almost to the breaking point. That match is almost ready to burn your fingers, and you're going to drop it on that keg of gunpowder. Both sides. You guys got to wake up. You know, I'm not blaming the preppers. They're just reacting to what they're seeing. When you have government officials say stuff like that, when you have people out there protesting, when you have somebody out there pulling an assault rifle, and I'm a gun fan. I believe everybody should own one. Everyone has the right. I believe in the Constitution. In fact, you'll find my real last name on the Constitution. So yeah, my family's bled and died for that Constitution over the centuries and years. It's not to us. It's not a piece of paper. It's our freedom. It's our right to be free, right to be American. That's what America's values are meant to be. And we've got our government, our Supreme Court, basically crumpling it up and wiping their ass with it. That's what it means to them. We all need every last one of you. Trump supporters, Hillary supporters, Bernie supporters. We all need to step back, stop. Preppers, non-preppers, stop, step back. Look at the things before you, how things have been playing out, just not now. Start going back to things that have played out. See the picture, see the bigger picture, see what they're trying to unfold. This might be the only way things can come to stop. And truthfully, might be time to stop listening to Alex Jones for a bit too. I love the show. But even I got to know that I have to tune him out from time to time. But man, let's do a show in about 2 months. Can I take a break from it? And then it's gonna offend some people. I don't care. The fact is, yes, he's right more than he's wrong, but he's also part of the problem right now. He's fighting about all because he's being censored. But let's flip that around. Is it being done intentionally to set him up so that he sets off you guys that follow him, that pretty much will worship him, idolize him, can't jump at everything? And they, trust me, the FBI, he'll even admit this part. They do this. They know how to trigger people. And they will dangle stuff. They'll dangle almost the whole truth in front of somebody. They know it's going to make them jump. Because if they jump, everybody that follows them will start jumping. Because there's an energy there. There's a psychological effect there when somebody starts getting that charged up and going off. It's fun to watch. But then you get caught up in it. We also have to be careful that we're not fall victims to it. I'm not saying don't watch the show or not go to his website. Take a break from the show. Just go to the website and read the articles. Use your eyes instead of your ears for a bit. I don't want to hurt his ratings or anything, but hey, we gotta take a break. We gotta be able to do everything. Because then when we go back to watch them, just take a couple days break. I don't mean take a month like I do. Take a couple days break. Or just small doses for a little bit. That way, when you do come back, you come back with refreshed eyes, refreshed sense of understanding. Then you can start seeing. You know what I love about it for Wars or Prison Planet, or whatever, whichever site you're at the be on of his. The links are there. You can follow them, get the opinion for yourself. You can do your own research off theirs. That's the beautiful thing about their site. That's what I respect about them. And there's other sites like that. iCitizenNews.net. Check it out. They're citizen journalists that do an awesome job. Patriot Nurse, The Prepared Mind. Although Patriot Nurse has gotten caught up in what I just said. She's flat out said we're on the brink of civil war. And she has the right to be concerned. Everyone does. But we can't allow it to also trigger us. Prepare for it, yes. Be triggered by it, be the cause of it? No. I don't think we're at the point of no return. We haven't crossed it yet, but we're there. Now, every decision we make, everything we allow in, has a very important impact on us and those around us. We need to be cautious. We need to question everything and not take anything at face value, not even with a grain of salt. You hear it, go fact check it. And guys, they're making it harder. You might have to go 40 pages in or go to Target, sometimes 50. But if you're willing to put a little time in, you can find it, and you will. Like I said, go back, revisit some things, see what you see. Think I've rambled on enough. I'm probably pissed off a bunch of people. Hey, hey, it happens. You can't please everyone. I'm not trying to please anybody. I'm trying to make you think. I'm challenging you to think. I'm challenging you to step outside the box. I'm challenging you to have an open mind. I'm challenging you to do your job as a human being and think and question. If you want to be mad at me for that, I can accept that. Like, I'll probably wear that mantle. You guys have a good night. I'll be doing more videos. Like I said, I've got a couple, working on a couple other ones, but I'm really caught up on my KOTR production, working with that and doing live streams on there. So I'll still be bringing stuff. So just bear with me. Know that I'm going to try once a week, uh, every other week, try to get a video out on this channel. So you guys have a good night and enjoy your weekend.